My students kept looking through the fence at lunch, and I wish I didn't know why. I'd been teaching 3rd grade for 12 years, but something changed that spring during recess. My student Zoe, this tiny 8-year-old with braided pigtails, always full of energy, had become very strangely quiet whenever we went outside. I started paying closer attention, noticing how she'd always wait around the fence the entire time we were outside. I had 20 other kids to watch, but I remember thinking it was weird. But Zoe seemed off. She'd stopped raising her hand in class, stopped eating her string cheese at snack time, stopped doing that little skip walk thing she did between activities. A few days later at recess, I watched her approach that fence again, saw her shoulders tense up, and noticed how she kept looking back at me to see if I was watching her. I asked a few other teachers if they were seeing it too, but they just said kids were just being kids. But I knew my students, and this wasn't normal. Especially not for Zoe, who used to spend recess telling me elaborate stories about her imaginary friends she made up. I started positioning myself closer to them during recess pretending to supervise, but I had to know what they were looking at through that fence. On Wednesday, I saw 7 kids gathered there and started walking over casually, but the second I got within 20 feet, they all scattered back to the swings and slides like nothing happened. Thursday, the same thing happened. 9 kids at the fence, Zoe in front looking uncomfortable, and the moment I moved toward them, I heard a car start and speed away. I had to know what was going on now. After recess, I pulled one of them aside, gently asking what was happening at the fence. He got nervous, but he whispered, "The men said they're looking for their lost puppy, and they have a prize for whoever helps find it." I was genuinely too shocked to realize how serious this was at the time. "What men, sweetheart?" He shrugged, suddenly fascinated with his shoelaces. "They come every recess now. They know our names. They said Zoe is the best helper, and she might get to ride in their van to look for the puppy soon." That same day after school, as they all went back outside, I positioned myself behind the equipment shed. Sure enough, 2 vans pulled up the moment the kids came outside. This time I saw everything. 2 crusty-looking men in dirty construction vests rolled up to them. I had it all on video. I speed walked up to them, asking who they were and what they were doing, but they sped away as quick as they could. That afternoon, I marched straight to our principal's office with my heart hammering against my ribs. I told him everything, who they were, how they knew my students. I asked him to call the police, but all he had to say was, "Mrs. Palmer, we can't just accuse people of wrongdoing without evidence. These could be construction workers from the apartment complex being built nearby, taking their lunch break. Unless something actually inappropriate happens, our hands are tied." I pushed harder, suggested we call the police for extra patrols during recess, maybe install better cameras facing that fence line, at minimum send a notice home to parents. He shook his head at each suggestion. "We can't cause panic over what might be a misunderstanding. You know how parents get. The last thing we need is a social media frenzy over nothing." His dismissive tone made my hands shake with rage. "These men know my students' names. How long until they try to take one of them?" Harrison shuffled some papers on his desk. "Already moving on. Then watch them. It's your job to do so. That fence is tall enough anyways." That night, I told my husband everything, still worried to death about these innocent kids, and his reaction proceeded to show me why I married him. Without a word, he knew what to do, and told me he'd take care of it. The next day, I was nervous to even let them outside in the first place. I watched Zoe drift toward the fence as if pulled by a magnet, 5 other kids following. This time, I crept along the building's edge, using the playground equipment as cover, getting close enough to see and record everything. 2 men, one heavyset with a scraggly beard, another thin with greasy hair and twitchy movements, approached the fence. The bearded one was holding out his phone, showing Zoe something, his other hand reaching through the fence toward her. That's when my husband showed up with his entire construction crew. My husband's 6'6" frame blocking the van's driver door. Both of the guys looked confused, but quickly changed to scared out of their minds. They all just stood there, arms crossed, while his buddies formed a wall of muscle in work boots. They tried to lie about just looking for their dog, but they cut him off. "We know exactly what you're looking for, and you're going to leave these kids alone. We've got your plates, your faces on video, everything. Come back here again, and we won't be this polite." They wanted to do much worse, but held back. Then the 2 men scrambled into their vehicles and peeled out as fast as they could. I filed a police report that afternoon with my video evidence, and within a week, both men were arrested. Turned out they were registered offenders who'd been doing this at 3 different schools. I still have nightmares about Zoe being taken. If one of the other teachers had been watching them, they wouldn't have noticed until it was too late.